Happy New Year, folks. Welcome back to the Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm so happy to be back. We took a week off last week, had to recharge the batteries a little bit here between Christmas and New Year's, but we're back. We're ready for the off season here, or as I like to steal, the non-point scoring season. Your host, Dustin, here, sitting across from me virtually, but I feel like still it's a real thing. It's literally right there. My co-host, Jake Trowbridge. Jake, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I like how you did the extension because I know where you're situated at in your pod studio space, and I know that your reach was literally reaching towards my house.
It really was.
So I felt it, and I appreciate it. I'm doing good. We're back, baby, as certain Seinfeldian characters have said, and it feels good. It feels good to be back. I'm not gonna lie.
It really does. We have got a fun episode. We've been talking about doing this for 2 years now, essentially.
Yeah. Before we started the show, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Yeah. We've been talking about doing this for a while. And we finally just said, fuck it. We've got to get it on the show sheet. Let's do it. Starting in the new year, let's just get it out there. So we are doing a football movie draft tonight where we are taking all the players from our favorite football movies and we are drafting our teams with them. It should be interesting to see how the teams shake out. And it's going to be fun. But before we get into that, Jake, have you seen the show on Netflix? It just came out, The History of Swear Words with Nick Cage.
No, that's so many things that you just put in that title. My brain can't quite process this. The History of Swear Words. Is it hosted by Nick Cage?
It's hosted by Nick Cage. So it's 5 episodes, and they pick five swear words that they spend an episode talking about, like the whole history, the etymology, and they have comedians and like historians come on and talk about it. And it was really funny, really good. So I think the 5 swear words, it's fuck, shit, pussy, damn, and dick. Those are the 5.
Damn got in there of all right.
That was the weakest one, but
they'd have one PG episode that they could get away.
Yeah, but it was really funny. It was really funny. I highly suggest you check it out. It's like they're like 30-minute episodes. They're like pretty short. Like I said, it's only 5 episodes, so you can binge it really easy. And it's just Nick Cage. He's a national treasure. Pun intended. Pun intended.
Oh my God. We should end it there. I'm pretty sure we've hit our peak with that bit of it. I will definitely watch this. I will have to set aside rewatching Arrested Development for the 29th time in order to do so, but I think I'll make an exception.
That is fair. So, this will probably be a relatively short episode here this evening, which is fine. We don't need to go for an hour and a half every week. And we, like I said, we got to ease ourselves back into the off season here. So, what are you drinking tonight, Jake?
I am drinking a gift from my wonderful co-host for Christmas. It is Youngblood Brewing, which is right here in Madison, Wisconsin. It's called I'm a Peacock, Let Me Fly. It's a cherry pie sour with cherries, graham cracker, and vanilla. It's just perfect. Chef's kiss.
Yum. It sounds delicious. It is delicious. You had me taste one a couple weeks ago when we were watching football here. It was delightful. Tasty.
And look at how nice and red that is. That is just like cherry pie filling out the can, isn't it?
That is. But you should have our logo out for the people to see. And our new PFF mugs. There, you can kind of see mine there.
Mine's too dark. My beer's too dark.
Yes, we have logo mugs, just special edition right here. So if you guys ask for it, maybe we can arrange to get more. But I am drinking just a Pilsner by Bent Paddle Brewing up in Duluth. Easy drinker.
Is that what it's called? Is that what the beer is called? Just a Pilsner?
No, it's called Pilsner Lager, which is a little redundant because a Pilsner is a lager. So
I'm confused. I thought a Pilsner and a lager were 2 entirely separate things.
No, a Pilsner is a lager.
But a lager is not necessarily a Pilsner?
Correct.
It's one of those.
Okay. Yes. So it's a little redundant, but nice, easy drinker. like I said, easing myself into 2021 here.
I
Not
like
true.
it. You gotta stretch, before you run. You gotta walk before you high dive, something like that. I don't know. Hard to say. Oh, Dynasty Vipers is in the chat asking, "We drunk yet? If not, I'm going to be disappointed."
Well, sorry, Dynasty Vipers. I am not drunk, although I have been drinking since I got off of work, but not drunk. Sorry.
Are you nearing it? Do you think an ETA on the time and amount it would take for you to reach that level?
Ooh, a lot more, especially drinking these pilsners here. I need to start cracking into some imperial stouts
Well,
to get
hey,
me where I need to be.
maybe for a certain segment of the show coming up here pretty quickly, you will get a boost. Do you think?
It will definitely help. That's for sure.
Okay. That's a little tip of the cap to a fun little segment that we have coming up.
That's right.
But first, do we want to dive right into our
Drunk trade of the week? Absolutely.
Let's do it. So this one's fun. It comes from Reddit user Michelle's Boner, who says a guy traded away Alvin Kamara for Gardner Minshew in a 2-quarterback league. Dynasty 2-quarterback league. It's a no veto league.
Good.
Only the commissioner can veto.
What?
So all of a sudden,
how is it a no veto league then if only the commission can veto?
That's true. That's it's a thing. There's a word for it.
Oxymoron?
Don't help me. Ah, that's the one. I would have gotten there in 5 more minutes if you hadn't helped. The only
podcasting though.
That's true. The only thing they say is that Kamara went to the commish. So this guy in question who traded away Kamara drunkenly for Gardner Minshew traded it to the commissioner, who is the only person who has the capacity to veto. So a bit to unwrap there, but let's just start baseline trade. What do you think?
Well, obviously now, knowing what we know of how this season went, obviously that trade did not work out well for the person receiving Minshew, since he did not play a whole lot this season. And Kamara obviously was all-star, superstar, back to his original form, which we know and love. Helping everybody win the ship this year. So just from that aspect, it was a bad trade.
Bad.
But then the fact that only the commish can veto a trade, and the commish is the one that got this. I'm thinking he would have probably vetoed this trade, he or she, I shouldn't say he, that the commissioner probably would have vetoed this, or there would have been discussion of vetoing had the commission not been involved. That's just my guess. Obviously, we don't have all the information here, but bad trade all around, though. Doesn't matter how you try to slice this.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, even if you think Minshew will get a starting job somewhere next year, somehow, some way, which I don't really see. Even if you think that, it's just not. It's not working out for you. Alvin Kamara was the running back one in PPR formats this year. Mm-hmm. You don't, and he's not going anywhere next year. I think even without Drew Brees, he's a smash top 5 guy for the next couple of years. It's bad. What's weird is that the person who submitted this made it very clear that the commissioner has veto powers, which makes me feel like they've ruled with an iron fist at some point in the past.
Yeah, same here. That just with that wording, I agree. Well, Michelle's Boner, not a good trade. Doesn't sound like you were directly involved, which is good. So we can't really tease you on that. But that's a pretty horseshit trade all around.
Horseshit trade of the week. We renamed the segment for this one.
Okay. Well, Jake, now we have to hit our beer bet payout.
We should
for 2 weeks ago, since we did not podcast last week. So to remind all of our listeners out there, 2 weeks ago, we made 2 bets on the podcast with
Kane Fossil.
Yes, Kane Fossil. Debbie Kane joined us. So our first bet was Calvin Ridley versus Tyreek Hill for PPR points. Calvin Ridley ended up with 17.3. Tyreek Hill had 10.5. So, Jake, you lost that one, where Kane and myself won that one. But then Kane threw a second bet out there for us, which was P. Rivers versus Big Ben. And Philip Rivers ended up with 11.8 PPR points, and Big Ben had 25.5 PPR points. And I took Rivers on this one and lost, and Kane and Jake, you both took Big Ben. So Kane won both.
By a wide margin on both.
By
I
a
just want
wide
to say
margin.
neither of these were close.
That's right. Jake, we each won one and lost one. I don't think we need to tell each other we are great fantasy analysts / prognosticators, geniuses. I think that goes directly to Kane since he won both. It's only fitting that we give him the props. So I've got my shot here. I'm doing this cranberry martini mixer thing. It's got dried fruit in it that you just soak your vodka in, and it's the only thing I had in the house that wasn't really, really nasty. So that's what I'm doing
that
tonight.
you know of. You haven't tasted it yet. It could be anything. I'm having a Deep Eddy lemon flavored vodka, which you freeze, and it's almost like slushy. So really, this is a victory for me in a way twice. But I appreciate it so much, and it's our first one back after a week that I'm actually doing a double just because it's a good liquor. These were 2 bets. It's our first pod from the 2021. I'm making up excuses. I just wanted to drink a little bit more. So,
well, Kane, you are an amazing fantasy football prognosticator / genius.
Agreed. Ditto. Kudos.
Kudos to you, sir.
Yump, bull, stilled skin.
Yep, it was vodka.
Oh, you get every last bit of that? The cranberry didn't do enough for you?
Nope. It's like gasoline.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did that taste like cranberry?
0. All I tasted was vodka.
Okay. So
that's all I tasted.
Probably needed to let that guy sit a little bit longer, is what you're saying. For future drinks, maybe go ahead and give it an extra soak.
Yeah, definitely.
So I also came out on top in the shot of liquor department.
You definitely did.
Kudos to me.
Kudos to you. Take those little victories when you can get them, Jake.
That's true. I'm going to. I'll snip out that little part of the pod and post it so Kane can see it because he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized that we have to come up with something by the end. Unless you don't want to. We don't have to make an extra beer bet tonight, but we'll see. We'll just see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Well, before we jump into the heart, which is the actual mock draft, I'm going to go ahead and let the folks out there know that Monkey Knife Fight is still here for you. Daily fantasy sports. The season is over. Even you weird week 17ers, I guess, out there who play your fantasy championships in week 17, it's all done. You've got nothing left except Monkey Knife Fight. You can pick any game that is available from an NFL slate. Every game from the Super Wild Card Weekend will be available from Monkey Knife Fight. All you have to do, pick the game, pick the players that you want to choose higher or lower on their specific lines. Let's say somebody's going to put out the Tom Brady 300-yard passing line. Do you want more or less? You pick one, you pick right, you win money. It's really that easy. All you have to do is go to monkeyknifefight.com. Also, use the promo code DTFF and you will get up to $50 matched in your account. So do that, enjoy, and watch some damn playoff football. Absolutely.
All right. So we are moving on. I am so jazzed for this. As I was doing research for the draft this weekend, my wife kept asking me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing research." I'm like, "This is a lot of fun."
This show finally got me to watch a couple of movies that I hadn't seen, and I'm damn sure glad that I did now because I'm going to be drafting some folks I'd never seen Any Given Sunday, and I felt like it would be egregious to not see it before this. So I'm very excited.
Yes. So before we get into this and start making picks, how, Jake, do you want to establish who picks first? We should have talked about this off air ahead of time, but
I like to let people into the process fully. Full transparency here. That's what we're about. They need to see how the sausage is made. And I'm not just saying that because I was too lazy to think of it ahead of time. So my suggestion here, there's a couple of things that we can do. We can do, because we have the benefit of the Zoom or the StreamYard here, is we can do a legit rock, paper, scissors.
That was my thought.
Okay. I know that's not very exciting audio-wise for the listeners, but we'll say rock, paper, scissors, shoot as we do it. So I feel like that qualifies.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And
Yeah.
we're not, none of this 2 out of 3 bullshit either. All right. It's one and done.
Winner takes all.
Winner takes first spot in the draft. And obviously we're just going back and forth. So it's not as if there's a huge advantage here. But as we've talked
trying to play off that you don't care if you get the 101.
No, you know who I want to draft 101. So I do care about that, but probably not as much after that. So are we ready? We go rock, paper, scissors, and on shoot, we have to display.
All right.
Okay. Rock.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay. That we both went paper, so we got to do again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah.
I feel like you delayed yourself on purpose, but I'm not going to call you out for it. It's fine. You're over here slowing down to half speed for those warm-ups. It's all right. You get the 101. I got the better shot before, so it's only fair.
I really didn't expect to get the 101. I'm not gonna lie here.
You goddamn liar. So now the question, and I don't know if obviously for the folks watching the live stream right now, you can see the draft board as we will have up as we go. We're going to go ahead and pop that up so everybody can follow along. But it is we have to fill out a legit roster here. This isn't like 4 spots. I mean, we're doing quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, kicker, yes, kicker, and defense, special teams.
So yeah, kind of more of your standard PPR league here. We're not going super flex or anything like that. So I will say, as I was going through and like I said, doing research for this, there is not a lot of tight ends or kickers in football movies, believe it or not. At least that I could find. So yeah, it was slim pickings there, but you've got to take someone that is going to be the cornerstone of your franchise. And that's a quarterback. So I got to go quarterback position here. Now, Jake, I know who you want to pick.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pick that person.
Really?
Yeah, I am going with Steamin' Willie Beeman, Jamie Foxx from Any Given Sunday as my 101. He's got all the goods. He's got the swagger that you like to see. He's the guy.
Interesting. So you went Steamin' Willie above who I think any reasonable person expected you to pick. A certain well-coiffed gentleman by the name of Keanu Reeves in real life, but you didn't do that, and you had two Keanu quarterbacks technically.
I know.
There's Point Break version, Johnny Utah, and there's replacements version, Shane Falco, and you went neither. So,
and honestly, if I would have picked one, I probably would have went Johnny Utah.
Yeah. Okay. So you would have went Utah, who had been out of football for many moons at that point. I mean, technically Shane Falco had as well, but he came back. Okay, let's answer this question in the chat really quick. Wahaj Malik just joined us and asked, what's this supposed to be? Well, Haj, this is supposed to be fun, and it is supposed to be a vehement back and forth between myself and Dustin, basically trying to best each other in movie knowledge, I think is really what it comes down to. Is
That's right.
that fair?
That's fair. That was a good summary. Thank you.
Now,
So,
here's
Jake, you're on the clock here.
Here's
who
my
are you?
advantage. I get the advantage now because I already know if this is one quarterback league. There's nobody else drafting here. I already know that I get the quarterback to my liking, and we all know who that's going to be. So I'm going to go the opposite.
And you get
direction.
2 picks. You get 2 picks in a row now because we're going to snake it.
We're snaking it.
Yeah, we're going
Ooh.
to snake it. So you get 2 picks.
Okay, so you know what I want to do here is I want to load up on a couple of onesie positions that are going to be very, very important because you already noted not a lot of tight end options to choose. So I'm going to go tight end here. Kicker, if there was one other person that I wanted on my draft in my team besides Shane Falco, it's his fellow replacement co-star, Rhys Ifans, who you may know as Vision from the Marvel movies, but you should also know him as the kicker, Nigel Gruff from The Replacements.
He's wiredy.
He's very, very wiry. And you know what? More than just being wiry, he proves himself not with accuracy, but also with dedication. He had a chance in that movie, spoiler alert, to get out of debt if he had missed and shanked a kick. Now, technically, he didn't get the opportunity to blast that kick, but I would like to think that he would have done the straight and narrow thing and put it through the uprights. So I'm going Nigel Gruff as my kicker.
Ooh, kicker with your 102. That's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of those, do you?
You really don't.
Now, again, this one is also interesting. I'm going tight end here, and it's only for lack of options, or there's not a lot of depth in these movies, at least from what I could glean. So I'm sticking with The Replacements for this one, and I promise all of my players are not going to be from The Replacements here, but this one is. His name in real life is David Denman. You might also know him from The Office, where he plays Roy, Pam's ex-husband. It's Brian Murphy is his name in the actual movie, and he's deaf. Now, you might think that's a hindrance. I think they show throughout that film it is not. He is
definitely
stellar.
not.
He has the game-winning touchdown and the movie-winning touchdown. Again, spoiler alert at the end of that.
Yeah, and let's just, as an aside here, if any of you have not seen The Replacements at this point, go watch it immediately when you're done listening to this podcast, because it is just a great feel-good movie. Lots of laughs, great comedy, and it's football related. It is one of my more favorite football movies out there.
Can we just spend the rest of this episode just walking through our favorite parts of The Replacements?
We probably could. It'd probably be more interesting than this, let's be honest.
I don't know. I think we're about to start heating up here, though. So you get the back-to-back now.
Now I am back-to-back. And since you've already taken tight end and kicker, it's kind of the reverse here, where I know you're not going to draft those positions. So now I can focus on the other stud positions here of wide receiver and running back. And really, the first pick here is going to be a wide receiver. And I feel like this is a no-brainer as well. I am taking Rod Tidwell from Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooden Jr.
Yeah, that's a good
one. As my wide receiver. Hey, he called it. Show me the money. And he went out and produced. He caught the big game-winning catch. I think we're coming up with a theme here of players that come through big at the end. But yeah, he is everything you want from a wide receiver. Got a little bit of that diva attitude. He's got the swagger, but he also backs it up on the field. So that's why I am going to take him. And then, now comes the more interesting pick here. Do I go back-to-back wide receivers and get 2 studs and kind of leave you with the dregs? Or do I take my running back here? Ooh.
Look, I'm not trying to tell you how to draft here by any means, but if I was in your position right now, I would go ahead and snag a running back, because if you don't, I'm telling you right now, I'm coming with the heat.
That's fine. I'm looking. I've got a whole spreadsheet here of movies and positions and players.
Of course you do.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I think I'm gonna go. Ooh, I don't know. I think I want to go wide receiver again. No, I don't. I'm going to go running back.
There you go.
And I'll explain why when I get around to my picks next time here, because I don't want to. I want to influence you with your picks here, Jake.
Oh,
so.
you don't want to give away your hot draft strategy live on here.
That's right. That's right. So I am gonna go with from The Longest Yard, the remake with Adam Sandler. I'm taking Nelly as Earl Meggett as my running back.
All right.
Of the Mean Machine. He ran so fast that he ran out of his shoes when they were practicing. I mean, the guy is electric out there. And he doesn't have the diva attitude. I feel like with my quarterback and my wide receiver, I've got some diva tendencies here, and I need someone that's just going to go out and play and is humble, and that's Earl Meggett.
Now, I'm a little concerned at this point, because here you are praising a man for his inability to keep his shoes on, and I just feel like I feel like it's bad strategy. I don't feel like the research holds up there. I think that's an oversight. Plainly, I like guys on my team who have shoes and keep their shoes on.
Oh, great.
I feel like what we have going on here is a little bit of that AJ Hawk situation of how we always used to talk. Former linebacker great AJ Hawk for the Green Bay Packers you could bank on at least 5 plays a game, whereas his helmet would come off for some inexplicable reason.
I was going to say, like, every other defensive play, it would come off. I swear it was that often.
It was frequent. It was frequent, and it was too frequent. And you had to wonder why, because sometimes he wasn't even near the play that happened. He wasn't even near the tackle, and his helmet would still come off. So I fear that's what you're getting with Earl, but you know what? It's not my draft. That's your draft. So now it comes back to me. And I don't know. There's a temptation here to lock down the last onesie that neither of us have gone for and take my defense here. This is the complete opposite of my actual fantasy draft strategy. If I started with 3 picks of a kicker, tight end, and defense in an actual fantasy football draft, I feel like somebody would have to check with me to see if I smelled toast, because I might be having a stroke.
Do you taste pennies?
Yes. But it's a serious consideration here. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to hit with the hammer like I said I was going to a little bit earlier. If you passed up running back, I was going to go hard running back. And I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
You still have one left to fill, and I don't want you to have this person. Maybe it's recency bias because it's the last movie I watched here. But any given Sunday, it's rearing its head, and I want LL Cool J, a.k.a. Julian J. Man Washington.
What up, LL?
Now, yes, is he a little bit arrogant? Yeah, you sure bet he is. Do I like a little bit of arrogance in my running backs? You sure bet I do. See Aaron Jones, for example. J-Man is the kind of guy who would bust out the Macho Man Randy Savage sunglasses on the sideline.
And I'll be honest, that I was considering him as my number 1 running back, but ultimately I decided no. So it was a toss up between J-Man there and Earl Meggett. So I like the pick.
So I'm glad I snuck in there then, and I didn't go defense. Can I just say my one hesitation in drafting LL Cool J Man here is that his teammates often refer to him as a merc, which means a mercenary, especially your quarterback, Steamin' Willie Beeman claims that he'll be gone before next season. So there's always the issue that long term here. I don't know if we're talking dynasty or redraft. It doesn't really matter. It's fake. But if we were talking dynasty, I might have some concern. Could be a Lev Bell situation.
Mm-hmm.
But as it stands, I'm happy. I'm going to double down on running back, by the way. This one might be a little bit left field, but I'm so ready for it. I am going to take a rookie. And by rookie, I mean somebody who did not actually play in the pros for the movie, but I feel like now we can be a little flexible here with the timelines. And I'm going to suggest that this person is just coming out in their rookie year. And he's a dual threat because he started off on one side playing offense. And then they moved him over to defense because he got benched. And you know what? He did great. He did great in both roles. It's P.D. Jones, played by your friend and mine, Donald Faison, a.k.a. Turk from Scrubs.
And Donald, if you're listening to this, please hit us up here if you love this pick here that Jake has. We'd love to hear from you.
I think that if he was ever going to listen to an episode, I'd like to think this is the one he would.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
So I get to do a threat. I can technically have him score some defensive points for me as well. See, you got to look at upside with these guys. I feel like that's the common thread of my team personally, is I'm all about the upside.
You definitely are all about the upside here. Well, I'm going to go back to back again with running backs and wide receivers, especially wide receiver, since you have not taken one yet. So I really want to, leave you with some questionable picks here. Now I do have a conundrum here with wide receiver because there's two wide receivers I really want. Right. And so I've got very much another alpha wide receiver here that can go up and moss everybody, so to speak. Or do I want a grinder? Yeah, a good slot grinder wide receiver that will just do the dirty work, get the short yards, and someone I can count on. So who do I?
Welker.
Yeah. Oof. And this makes it tough because I thought maybe you'd take a wide receiver and take the decision away from me.
No, sir.
You know what? If I'm going strictly, I got to go strictly for upside on my team. I want a team that can score points at any given time. So I'm going to go with Deacon Moss, a.k.a. Michael Irvin from The Longest Yard. And what can I say that it's Michael Irvin? We know what he did on the field. He was a stud.
Now, hold on here. I feel like you're getting to imbibe him with his real life attributes and is skewing his role in the film, which was admittedly so great.
Did you see him in the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He mossed people all day long and just housed it. So yeah, I took him. And now I will go back to running back here.
Okay.
And this may be a little bit of a questionable pick here, I feel like. I'm going to go with James Booby Miles from
who?
Varsity Blues? Or no, Friday Night Lights.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
I
remember Varsity Blues very well, and there was there was boobies, but there was not a character named Booby in that film.
Yes, he was the running back in Friday Night Lights. He tore his ACL, or partially tore his ACL during the season, and then tried to come back too early before it was healed. I feel like he would get that shit corrected, and he was a freak on the field. Like, he was the number one running back in Texas high school football. Like, what's not to love about that prospect right there? So I'll take the upside there as my number 2 running back on the team.
Look, man, I really can't argue with that at all. God
Thank
damn.
you.
It's not a fuck, that duo of picks is actually really good.
Thank you.
Relish it. I'm not going to say that all but
Yeah.
you really should. You son
I'll
of
just
a
sit
bitch.
here and sip my beer and be perfectly content.
Now, from a strategery standpoint, I still want to go lock down the defense. and you know what I want to do is I want to go a little bit left field here because look, we don't play IDP, or I should say, we do not advise on IDP in
Correct.
this podcast. That's not
And
something
I have
that
never played IDP. I understand the concept of it. I've just never participated in it.
now I've played IDP for my first time this year. Shout out to Jordan Rains who invited me to his IDP league. But he did teach me the value of having that one crucial guy. It's not always about the defense as a whole. It's about sometimes just having that one crucial guy. And for me, if there's ever a player on defense in these movies that is crucial to his team's success, it is Mr. Bobby Boucher from The Waterboy, played by Adam Sandler. Would you question me at all here, Dustin, if I said he is the greatest defensive player to ever grace film and screen?
I would question that claim.
Really? Interesting. Why, sir? Why are you going to say that?
Greatest defensive player?
Absolutely.
Rudy?
Well, okay, look, there's a case. There's a case to be made. I'm just saying, I never saw Rudy dropkick nobody.
Well, this is true.
Huh?
Because he had more class than that.
Oh, please. Class is overrated.
Uniform.
Class is overrated, especially for defensive players in fantasy football. So I'm going with Bobby Boucher and by extension, the Cougars from The Waterboy as my defense.
Fair enough.
And now, look, all of the positions that you have, I don't basically at this point. So it's really just filling in the blanks. I know you're not going to be able to snipe me on anybody. So it's my pick of the litter. And I want to start off that pick going back to the replacements. And I know that I said I wasn't going to only draft replacement players here. And that's true. But I'm going to draft mostly replacements players because
we know what your favorite movie is.
There's no way that I can walk away from the upside that Clifford Franklin exhibits in that film as a wide receiver. Does he always make the catches? No. Is he frustrated?
I want someone that catches the damn ball. You talk about someone in my running back that can't stay in his shoes. I want someone that can catch the ball. Like, that's your job.
Okay, but I think we can agree by the end of that film / season, Clifford Franklin really comes on hot.
Yes,
and that's what you got to look for. You know, he comes on real hot at the end there. Yeah, he had some Nelson Aguilar-esque drops, which were very frustrating, or for our purposes, some Marquez Valdez-Scantling-esque drops. But the upside is so
to be honest, he starts the best singing / line dancing scene in a movie.
That's undebatable.
Yeah,
I would say.
So he's got that from as well.
Do you remember what the song is that they line dance to in the movie?
Yeah.
Do
At
you?
first I was afraid. I was petrified.
Yes. They will survive. He will survive. I will survive this draft with the best players. So Clifford Franklin is my upside wide receiver. Technically, by the way, did you know this? Technically he's a slot receiver. He doesn't really come across as one on film. But technically, yeah. So I feel like I'm still going to get the volume there too at the upside.
Nice. All right. So here we go. My last back-to-back picks here. And I'm going to go like how I normally would. I'll do tight end, kicker, defense, just because I can. So my tight end here, and again, as I said early on, there wasn't a lot of options, but I'm going with Cheeseburger Eddie. Terry Crews. He's got the fries that'll dry your eyes. He's got the shakes that'll make you quake. And he's a physical specimen, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
So yeah, I'm going with Cheeseburger Eddie as my tight end. As you seem to be going with mostly players from the replacements, I seem to be loading up on some longest yard players here on my team.
That's fair. That's fair. Can I just say that it would be very difficult? There's a subsection of football movies out here that made it very difficult to actually draft players from. Like I can't in good conscience draft a little giant. You know what I mean? I can't draft a 9-year-old here. Yeah, we could project them into the future, but let's face it, I'm not a good enough tape grinder to do that.
Exactly. All right, and then for my kicker, I actually, believe it or not, I have a couple options here. There's not just one clear-cut option.
Oh,
the one I'm going to go with is Lucy Draper. I will be the first person to have a female in the league here, taking Kathy Ireland as my kicker.
Yeah,
she was in the movie Necessary Roughness. For those of you who hasn't seen it, honorable mention here for kicker that I thought about going with Ray Finkel.
No, why would you invite that jinx onto your team, Dustin? That would have been a grave mistake. So I'm glad that you sidestepped that one.
He was one of the most accurate kickers ever until he missed one and lost his damn mind. But
yeah, until it mattered, and then he went full on crazy person.
He did. But it was an honorable mention. When I was looking through, I'm like, ooh, I got a fun one. As a third option.
What you wanted to do is you wanted to draft, 3 years prior Ray Finkel onto your team when things were going well.
That's right.
And I don't feel like that would be fair for this draft. So Lucy Draper, I think, is a great one. We had talked about when we've talked about this draft in the past, because obviously we've talked about this. Now, fun it would be. I think we both agreed there are really only 2 kickers that we truly were going to consider, and we both got them. So
absolutely. All right, Jake, you got the last 2 picks here.
All right, last 2 picks. I need to fill my wide receiver and quarterback slot. And wide receiver, you would think when going through these movies that there would be a dearth of options. You would just have wide receiver upon wide receiver to go off of. And maybe, if you look deep enough. But if you're just looking surface level at people who actually got, like real screen time, you're not going to find many options. So I'm once again forced to choose. Do I go upside? Because really there's 2 options left for me. And the 2 options are Charlie Tweeter from Varsity Blues, which is played by one of the Cons, Scott Conn.
Scott Conn.
Yeah. You might know him as one of the lovable goofballs in the Ocean's 11 franchise. He's great. Him and the other Affleck. See, it's just a Con and... Okay, there you go. You know the actual names. I just know their last names, apparently. But they are a great duo. Now, I'm not drafting from Ocean's 11, but I have Scott Conn, Charlie Tweeter, who, again, tremendous upside. But can you trust him? Yeah, he's got a big personality. He's good on special teams. But he has upside, but can you trust him? Meanwhile, there's old, reliable Phil Elliott from Any Given Sunday is the old bones there. You just need a quick little pass over the middle. It's Phil Elliott. Can I tell you, I don't even know who plays this guy. I didn't even see who plays him. It doesn't matter. He might as well just be played by the love child of Wes Welker and Larry Fitzgerald, because he's the old reliable there. And I'm really tempted. All I've got is upside. Sometimes I think you need to take the safety, right? And but in the spirit of my team, I can't do it. I'm doing Charlie Tweeter, and maybe it's just because I'm a glutton for screen time. And what a personality on Mr. Conn. I'm going Tweeter.
Yep, that was the other wide receiver I was thinking about taking. Like I said, just you want someone that's a grinder in there. And fun fact, if I may interject something personal into this, Varsity Blues was the first date movie of my now wife, Lindsay, back in the day. We went and saw that in the theater. I took her to see Varsity Blues.
That was your first date movie?
That was our first date movie.
That's so much better than my first date movie with my missus, which was The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, that is an interesting choice.
Yeah, interesting is not the word that she would use to describe that movie. I went in with it thinking that it would be a good, like, scary movie, and she'll want to like hold my arm a lot through it, and it's not that kind of scary movie.
Oh my Lord. All right, Jake, give us your last pick here.
I will wait. No, you get to go. I did my last two. Now you get your defense, and I take my QB.
Oh, really? You did your two? Oh.
Yep. I went with. Did I? Maybe I didn't. No, you're right. I didn't. Oh, I think I just secretly wanted to save this to the end because I'm so overly dramatic. But I'm going to take my quarterback, which is anti-drama at this point, because I think anybody who's still listening, thank you, is in the know about who I'm going to take. And it is from The Replacements, Keanu Reeves coming back to save the day, crossing the picket line and delivering strikes on strikes on strikes. It's not Johnny Utah, much as an argument could still be made. It is instead replacement level quarterback action. Dustin, do you know who I'm talking about?
Shane Falco.
Shane motherfucking Falco is my final pick as quarterback of my football movie draft.
And can we just say for a moment how Keanu Reeves has played two college level quarterbacks in his backstory in two different movies? That's impressive.
And both quarterbacks had, according to their backstories, all the talent to do anything they wanted. Clearly, I mean, they're talked about relentlessly in an optimistic fashion. Even noted bad boy Patrick Swayze has some very nice things to say about Johnny Utah in Point Break, but can you trust hearsay? That's all I'm saying. You saw that game, that football game they played on the beach. I don't know. He didn't look all that great to me.
Oh, stop it. All right. And then I will just end this up with the Mean Machine as my defense. They'll play dirty. They'll play tough. They'll play outside the lines. They've got attitude. I'll take them.
Now, where is Mean Machine from? What film?
That's The Longest Yard.
Is that the original or the remake? You have to ask.
The remake.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. There could be some older folks who remember the premiere version of that very fondly.
With Burt Reynolds. Ooh, buddy.
Burt the Stash Reynolds. You goddamn
That's right. So, Jake, why don't you list off your team here real quick for everyone as a recap?
I would fucking love to. So my fantasy football 8-man team looks like Shane Falco captaining with or without the Washington Sentinels. It really doesn't matter. He was the Washington Sentinels from The Replacements, followed by LL Cool J-Man from Any Given Sunday. In my first running back slot, my second running back slot, Petey Jones, who can play both sides of the ball, Donald Faison in Remember the Titans. Then we got Clifford Franklin going back to The Replacements as my wide receiver 1, Charlie Tweeter from Varsity Blues as my wide receiver 2, the deaf but very capable Brian Murphy as my tight end from The Replacements, also from The Replacements kicker Nigel Gruff, who is wiry and accurate, and my defense, it's really centered around Bobby Boucher, but it's the entire Cougars group from the Waterboy.
Yes. Nice draft, Jake. So my team is at quarterback. I've got Steeman Willie Beeman. At running backs, I've got Earl Meggett and James Bowie Miles. Wide receiver, I got Rod Tidwell and Deacon Moss. Tight end, I've got Cheeseburger Eddie. Kicker, I've got the lovely Lucy Draper. And defense, I've got the Mean Machine. So that rounds out our football draft here. Some surprises that, neither of us brought up here. I mean, we had a plethora of options for quarterback. We had Scott Bakula from The Necessary Roughness, Paul Blake.
Absolutely.
He would have been a great choice. You had two choices from Varsity Blues. You had James Vanderbeek as Jonathan Moxon, or you had Paul Walker as Lance Harbor, the quarterback that got hurt.
Yeah, but Dustin, can I just say in regards to Dawson from Dawson's Creek, I don't want his life on my draft lineup.
Nice.
Nailed it.
You did. That was something else. I'm trying to look here. We had from the program running back, we had Darnell Jefferson, played by Omar Epps, did not get mentioned.
We didn't mention the program but once until you brought it up now, which is kind of our bad, maybe.
Yeah. We did not bring up draft day at all. We had Arian Foster playing Ray Jennings in draft day.
That's true. Draft day was a kind of a dark horse candidate, but you never really got to see the action. You just knew where they valued them. The GMs did,
right?
In terms of their rankings, but we never got to see the action.
Another running back here from a very far out movie. I don't know if you have to tell me if you've seen this, from The Last Boy Scout.
I have seen The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah. Billy Blanks. He plays Billy Cole, running back.
Yeah.
Or he did back in the day. And then obviously with Brian Song, Billy D. Williams as Gale Sayers. That would have been
probably the biggest oversight, if I'm being honest, about missing. Are we going to bring up Invincible also?
Well, of course, yeah. So yeah, we had Vince Papale, Mark Wahlberg, which another one of those just grinder, lots of heart that you love to see on your team.
Miles and miles.
And then here's one that I want to get your opinion on for a wide receiver. This I saw when I was doing research, listed as a wide receiver / kick returner, and that's Forrest Gump.
He's not just special teams, huh? I mean, obviously that's the scene everybody remembers, right? Can I be honest though? I've never seen that entire movie.
What?
I know, but I've seen the highlights, and I saw him return that kick.
Well, and then
look, maybe based on that, he could have slotted into my special teams, but just you can't trust it. He's pretty flighty, from what I understand.
He is. So, and then really one more that I think of is for wide receivers, Bill Bellamy as Jimmy Sanderson in Any Given Sunday. But that's about it.
Fair.
There wasn't a whole lot of other options, to be honest. There was some. We didn't list all of them here, but once you got past the quarterbacks, it really started to drop off really fast. Running back, there was a good number, but wide receiver, not as many as you think. Tight end, I had 3 on my list. Kickers, I had 3. Defense, you could probably pick any of the teams if you really wanted to, but not that many were truly highlighted.
Well, and you know why you wouldn't pick many defenses is because every football movie is told from the perspective of the offense, and what always happens to the defenses they're playing against, they always lose at the end. So you can't pick any of them, and you never get screen time with the other defenses. There's a lot of time focused away from skill position players in a lot of these films. The Blind Side is entirely about the offensive line, so that doesn't help you.
Nope.
Once we get into Leatherheads territory, that's scary. I'm not drafting somebody from the 50s who can't even keep up to the game. Sorry, John Krasinski. And you handsome son of a bitch. What's the other gentleman? Who's the only guy from that movie? Why am I blanking?
I don't know. I'm blanking too.
Oh, God damn it. He's from the Ocean's 11 movie as well.
George Clooney.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry, George. What have I done?
I'm here for you.
In any case, it wasn't good. Now, Can we look ahead here to, I don't know if you want to keep doing it. We only really wanted to do a bet a week during the season, but I just figure it's super wild card weekend, and it would be super fun to do one other beer bet this week.
Yeah, let's continue on here through the playoffs.
Okay.
So, I believe I picked the last one with Tyreek and Calvin Ridley. So it would be on you this week to do the beer bet.
And I would be happy to do it. Okay, so there's two games that I was kind of eyeballing for this.
Okay.
That I was very interested in, because one would actually be a revisitation of a bet that we made a few weeks earlier that I lost, and I kind of want to double back on it. It's a Rams versus Seahawks bet, but I think I'm actually going to go a different way with this.
Okay.
So sorry for the blue balls on that. I know you got excited that you're going to get a double down on a previous victory. I'm not going that way. Instead, what I'd really like to do is go with the Colts versus Bills.
Okay.
I already feel like you're going to hate this, but I'm going with
I already do hate it.
it. Look, obviously I'm not matching up quarterbacks. That's pretty fruitless. I'm not matching up top running backs. Equally fruitless. I am instead going to go tight end.
Oh, that is gross.
do you just hate this?
I do. Is it going to be team tight end?
No. It's meant to be specific tight end.
Ugh. All right. So who are the tight ends?
Come on, it's Dawson Knox from the Bills, and it's obviously going to be Mo Alley Cox from the Colts.
Oh, that is
Gigantor.
so gross.
It is gross. You know what? No. Fuck it. That's
No,
actually too gross. Will you? All right, let's do it.
Knox.
Dawson Knox versus Mo Alley Cox. I kind of just like it because it rhymes now too. And it's maybe the grossest. I know I've given you a lot of shit for how many bad bets we've made. But Super Wildcard Weekend. Let's do a fun one.
And then Mo Alley. I'm just typing it into the show sheet here. And this is more PPR points.
More PPR points. I already know I'm going to have to drink after this one. But what fun will it be if Mo Alley Cox scores a touchdown this weekend?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw and they both have 0 points. Let's be honest here. It wouldn't surprise me one fucking bit.
Oh, it's going to be so gross. Welcome to 2021 bets, Dustin.
Way to start us off strong, Jake.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to add here before we sign off for the evening? I think we've pretty much covered everything here.
Yep. I got nothing. I'm glad that we could finally do that. I had a lot of fun. At this point, I don't even care if anybody else had a lot of fun because I enjoyed the shit out of that episode. We've been wanting to do it forever. So other than that, just enjoy Super Wildcard Weekend. We'll get to watch it as just football fans and not homers for once, with the Packers getting their first round bye. Had to sneak it in at least once.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and don't forget, folks, visit our sponsor, Monkey Knife Fight. Your favorite team may not be playing in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean the fantasy fun has to end. Go visit Monkey Knife Fight and put some money down. Earn some cheddar back, man. It's a lot of fun. I do it every week. It gives you something to root for outside of your favorite team. So definitely go check them out. I'm glad to be back here. This was a great episode. I had a lot of fun with this. I'm so glad we finally got it on the show sheet and just decided to do it. It's been back here in the back of my head for 2 years now, and I'm just glad we got it done because it was a lot of fun. We will be posting a screenshot of the teams with a poll attached to it, so you guys can put your votes out there to tell us who you think won or who has the better team. Let's put it that way. Not who won, who has the better team. So we'll get that out here as soon as we get the podcast out there live for y'all. And I don't think I've said this for a while, but go check us out on Apple Podcasts. Give us a rate and review. We really do appreciate it. It helps other people find this podcast easier and quicker and faster. So the more reviews we get, the more 5 stars. If you want to give us a 1 star, that's fine. We'll blast you on the podcast about it because we don't like those. But give us whatever ranking or star ranking you want to give us. That's fine. It does help us out though tremendously, so we would appreciate that. And Jake, tell people where they can find you.
They can find
Twitter?
me at my name on Twitter at Jake Trowbridge.
All right. And you can find the podcast at Drinking Fantasy, and you can find me at FF Dusty Dog. And until next week, folks, keep drinking and talking fantasy football.
Cheers, FFers.